India is being swept along in the tide of globalization. New communications technologies have fueled an explosion of business opportunities. While over half of the population still lives on less than $1 a day, India also has the fastest growing middle class in the world. The population has just passed the 1 billion mark. Half of all Indians are under 25. All industries are trying to capitalize on this youthful market. None more so than the tobacco industry. At a time of dwindling sales and expensive lawsuits in the West, the tobacco companies are looking to developing countries for compensation. There is a growing awareness of the health hazards, but tobacco consumption in India is rising steadily. Cultural traditions mean that Indian women have never really smoked, but that too is changing now. An estimated 4 million children under 15 are believed to be regular tobacco users.
5,500 children are estimated to be starting smoking every day in India.
Volumes are up. Volumes are up.
2,500 die every day because of tobacco-related diseases, and twice the number have to smoke and to keep smoking to keep the industry alive and kicking.
If you offer a market like a sitting duck to a multinational corporation, it's going to bleed the market.
Tobacco giants like Philip Morris and British American Tobacco have designed marketing strategies specifically geared towards increasing sales of cigarettes in the developing world. BAT have called theirs Project Battalion. Advertising is key to these strategies.
Regardless of what they say about brand building, which is possibly true, the fact is that it has a double agenda.
Tobacco companies have always maintained that they aren't trying to attract new smokers, but merely brand building, convincing existing smokers to switch brands.
If you make your cigarette advertising classy enough and aspirational enough, then you will always attract new smokers.
The Indian cigarette industry is dominated by one company, ITC, which has a 70% share of the market. The multinational British American Tobacco is the largest shareholder in ITC.
To give you the complete lowdown, BAT controls ITC.
Suhel Seth was formerly the marketing manager of ITC. Now he's one of India's new marketing gurus and has set up his own company, brand.com.
Advertising, especially in a market such as India, works because for about 48 years out of our 53 odd years of independence, we were an insular market in media terms. You know, you were very insular. You had state-controlled television, you didn't have cable and satellite, you had fewer newspapers, your literacy was far lower than it is today. With that changing, what you've obviously seen is also the evolution of the Indian consumer.
Roadside kiosks are the main retail outlets for tobacco in India. There are kiosks on every corner of every street in every town. Over 250 million Indians use tobacco on a daily basis. The most popular product is the locally produced hand-rolled bibi. Also common is gutka, a highly flavored chewing tobacco. The tobacco industry in India is worth over $5 billion annually. World Health Organization figures show that one Indian dies every 40 seconds as a result of tobacco-related illnesses.
Hello everybody, I'm Manoj Thaker, a cancer survivor.
Manoj smoked cigarettes and chewed gutka for his whole adult life.
They cut off my half jaw. Upper and lower jaw is not there. और ये जो आपको दिख रहा है, वो यहाँ से
And what you see here is a skin grafted from my chest for the plastic surgery.
काट के प्लास्टिक सर्जरी की है. और यहाँ आप हाथ लगा के देखिए.
And this is a plastic insert that supports my neck and
जो मेरे हाथ पिंजर को पकड़ के रखा है.
Manoj sees himself as a living advertisement for the perils of tobacco use. His aim? To shock people into giving up.
I'm trying to get married. I'm divorced. No one wants to let their daughter marry me. It's true. Do you know anyone who would marry me?
No jobs.
Since his operation, he started a book that lists the names and numbers of all the smokers and chewers in Bombay who've promised him they will kick the habit.
I have found this many people. These are the names and the telephone numbers. Today's total is 351. That's how many people have quit smoking.
He follows up every encounter with a phone call. He thinks about 80% of his converts are keeping off tobacco.
Before the cancer, I was working as a marketing manager, making a salary of nearly 9,000 rupees, plus perks. Today, even a teenager won't give me a job. I don't know anything else apart from that. I started my career in selling, so apart from my selling skills, I don't know anything else. All I can do is sell. With my face like this, no one will give me a job. This is an old picture of me.
The year that Manoj Thaker discovered he had cancer was also the year that his wife and daughter left him. Now he lives alone in a northern suburb of Bombay. Unable to get a job, he runs his own small kiosk. The money it brings in barely covers his living expenses, and his hospital bills have been colossal. But he still refuses to sell tobacco products, despite the lucrative profits they could bring him. Instead, he regards his kiosk as the perfect opportunity to sell people the dangers of tobacco.
Have you got any cigarettes? No tobacco, no cigarettes, no gutka.
Yeah, that's you.
I was quite handsome, wasn't I?
You had an operation for cancer here?
Yes, they cut out the whole area. People are surprised because they see such a nice shop. Sweets, chocolates, biscuits, and cigarettes are such a popular item. They ask me, why don't you stock them? That's when I explain to them, look friend, smoking cigarette is a bad thing. Look, today I have a modest business. I have to be careful about my spending. But for my peace of mind, I cannot sell poison to the public.
हीरो प्रोडक्शंस पेश करते हैं महालायक।
लायक नहीं महालायक है तू, सिगरेट पीने वालों का नायक है तू, और दूसरा नहीं तुझको पसंद, सिर्फ हीरो का गुण गायक है तू, हीरो तुम हो हीरो।
You know, the cigarette film that we did were all spoofed and they were very funny. I mean, we'll try and get you a copy of it. It was spoofed on a Hindi movie and it was very good fun. Finally, it became very popular. We shot it like a trailer of a Hindi movie. Most of the films are given to producers who actually are comfortable with certain things. So I'm very comfortable with kids. I'm very comfortable with teenagers. I'm very comfortable with good-looking women because, you know, that's who I am.
धुआं छोड़ म्यूजिक।
On the other side of the trolley, you see a cigarette advertising, you see a hoarding with some guy looking really great. You feel the need, you suddenly feel the nicotine need because you see somebody else smoking or you see a hoarding or you see a commercial. So it's like kickstarting your body, it's like reminding it that, hey, you're cold turking, man, you need a smoke.
The world's international cup. Share the magic.
Most of the time, the work that I've done for tobacco companies, strangely enough, is on cricket. So it's not actually about cigarette smoking, it's about team sponsorship. So most of my involvement with them is actually subliminal.
4 square cricket gear. You never know what you can become.
Cricket is the only common religion that India has. On the face of it, what you see is a sponsorship of sport. But if you scratch the surface, then what you're seeing is very, very careful target marketing, where they're looking at young people who watch the sport, who are almost fanatic about the game, and who see their icons being associated with a cigarette brand.
Veena Chambly, sensational bat, darling of the crowds, Demolition Man, four-square cricket gear. You never know what you can become.
All cigarette advertising is eventually aspirational, and it definitely gets new smokers. Because anything that's aspirational and lifestyle oriented and action oriented, and if you're more macho, or you get the women, or you get to get the job done, or you're a hero at the end of it, then it is aspirational. It makes a huge impact on people who don't smoke, especially kids.
हरी भाई की सब दे मिसाल हर कच में ये करे कमाल हरी भाई बीड़ी
अभी हम लोग ऐसा नींद से उठता तो हम लोग को तलब लगता है बीड़ी सिगरेट का.
It's like this. We wake up in the morning and feel the need for a beedi or a cigarette. We go to the station and find cigarettes dropped on the streets, and we smoke them.
पी लेते तो फिर अपना ऐसे दोस्त से बात करते हैं.
We then have a chat with our friends and go and drink some dairy and play cards.
बाद में सब जुगाड़ खेलने बैठते हैं. जुगाड़ में बैठ जाते हैं.
When I came from my village to Bombay, that's when my friends taught me how to smoke. That's how I first started, and I'll continue to do it for the rest of my life. That's it. I came to Bombay to become a film star hero, to find a job and try to become a big and respected man. We have dreams to become heroes.
हर कश में दम किसी से न कम सुपरहिट सिगरेट हीरो.
क्या अभी सो के उठा है तो चक्कर आता है तो तलब लगता है तो सिगरेट पीता तो थोड़ा शांत
You wake up and then during the day you get dizzy spells, so you feel like smoking. When you have a cigarette, it brings you peace of mind. That's when you start to think about how you will earn money today. How will I do it? Will I beg or will I steal?
Goa, on the west coast of India, the gateway through which the Portuguese colonizers first brought tobacco to India in the 17th century. Goa is also home to one of India's most vociferous anti-tobacco campaigners. Dr. Vaidya, a local cancer surgeon, became so frustrated at the number of preventable tumours he was operating on that he began an anti-tobacco campaign.
I think Goa should be the place from where tobacco should get out of India. And that way I thought Goa can have the place of pride in eradicating tobacco.
Dr. Vaidya also understands the importance of capturing the hearts and minds of the young.
I started going to these schools and talking to the children. I said if we have got to at all fight tobacco, it has to be from childhood, because that's where the habits actually get ingrained in the mind, they get ingrained in the society, they get ingrained in your body, and you are a lifetime tobacco addict.
In 1998, he and the school children of Goa took to the streets in protest. Their aim, to force the state government to legislate against tobacco and tobacco advertising.
I think we have a misconception that adults have to teach children. I think adults have to learn a lot from children. But a child of 10 cannot visualize what may happen to him at the age of 50 or 60.
My father has been smoking for a considerable period of time now, and in August it began with hoarseness of his voice, and this basically progressed and worsened. And he had a number of investigations and was diagnosed to have a cancer of his voice box, or what's also called the larynx. He underwent a course of radiotherapy in the months of October, November and December. And initially he responded, but then gradually the condition deteriorated and was manifested in the form of hoarseness of his voice. He had severe pain while swallowing, because of which he couldn't eat, and he lost some 11 kgs over 8 weeks. And he was diagnosed to have complete destruction of his voice box, most likely as a result of the cancer having come back. And he underwent a surgery about a week ago, which consisted of complete removal of his voice box, and he's had now what's called a tracheostomy, which is an opening in his airway in his neck, and he needs to be fed through this tube.
Colonel Moorthy is just one of the millions of cancer victims in India. His cancer is a result of smoking, but unlike other countries with high rates of tobacco-related illness, India also has high numbers of oral cancer patients, a direct result of the deadly gutka. Many Indians have learned too late just how costly tobacco can be.
What would you like to say to the tobacco companies?
There is no point me saying anything, because the government gives them licenses to do business. No one is going to listen to what I say. Nothing is going to happen if I tell them to stop. I think they are impervious. I won't waste my one word to him. They are impervious to the tragedy. They know that tragedy occurs. Money drives them, and greed drives them to do what they are doing.
You cannot ever blame an ITC for cigarette consumption going up. I mean, it's ridiculous, because if you actually look at it as a company, then it's only doing the job that it's meant to do, which is maximize shareholder profit. You've got to have governmental pressure. You've got to have government or some body like that actually inflicting pressure on these guys. Otherwise, it'll never work.
Under pressure from Dr. Vaidya's campaign, the Goan state government banned all tobacco advertising. Tobacco companies now cannot advertise on television, in the cinema, on billboards, or even on shop premises.
He has been told not to allow anyone in future to paste these posters.
But the state government didn't just ban advertising, it went even further and banned smoking itself in public places. Dr. Vaidya makes sure local cafe owners know about the ban on smoking in public.
Your health, those who are serving coffee, are the ones that suffer most because of the smoking of your customer. Can you have a urinating corner in a swimming pool? No. You can't. The freedom to smoke is lost as soon as you are addicted, after the first 6 or 7 cigarettes. You lose the freedom, you become addicted. There is no freedom. The freedom is a concept infused into the tobacco promotion by tobacco industry. It's not freedom. To be free from addiction is freedom. Once you are addicted, you can't think properly. You have to depend on your thoughts for the next smoke. So I think that's not freedom, that's slavery of your mind.
As a result of the Goa campaign, tobacco consumption has gone down significantly, a trend supported by the experiences of other countries, which show similar reductions where tobacco advertising has been banned. Dr. Vaidya's next ambition is to spread the message to the rest of India.
The world you belong to is this.
Sometimes the scripts are so much fun that I'm just dying to execute them as a film person. But when you think of it in retrospect, you think, shit, I shouldn't be doing this.
This is the world that's always smooth. always mellow.
But if they're going to send me to the moon to do a commercial from there to see what the Earth looks like after it's smoked itself out, possibly.
The world of Goldflake, always smooth, always mellow.
You see, the point is, there's no Mother Teresa in the tobacco business. Who were the conscience keepers in the United States? Who were the conscience keepers in the United Kingdom? Government. You had regulatory bodies, you had regulators, you had controls, and you had people who were willing to take charge. You had champions. You had cause heroes. We don't have any of that here.
Back in Bombay, Manoj is getting ready for another day's hard sell.
Manoj, who's that?
She's my daughter.
How often do you see her, Manoj? I'm asking how often you see her.
Once a month. Once a month.
Does she come to see you?
No, I go and see her.
And how does she react to your cancer? What does
She said, Papa, your face is very dirty. Earlier your face was very beautiful. I don't like to see your face. And that is true. Yes.
Manoj, what do you miss most from your previous life?
Of course, a family life. And a job too. Oh, hero.
Who are you taking these cigarettes for?
They're for the boss.
Look, this is what happens when you smoke cigarettes. Understand, kid? So, don't smoke. I'll box your ear just for $100. Now, off you go. Now, hang on a minute. You can take 5 minutes out, can't you? I'll change your life.
Soon after we completed the shooting of this film, Manoj was told that his cancer has returned, this time on the other side of his face. By the year 2030, forecasters predict that tobacco will be the biggest single cause of death on the planet. To help combat this trend, the World Health Organization is calling for a global ban on tobacco advertising.